You're showing us the science behind a shrub. I didn't know there was a science behind a shrub.
There's definitely a science behind a shrub.
Dan Kohler is here, the amazing kitchen scientist, and I want to start by saying I did not start early.
Oh, really?
And I can prove it.
How so?
The dirty fork tells the story.
Oh!
It's like Clue.
It's okay, that's a good sign. Look, I'll take it.
Wait a minute, because I did take a bite of it, I tried to wash my palate and I took a big slug of this and it's really cold. What is it? Because it just burned my esophagus. Wow.
Well, when we get to it, we're going to be making...
Is that good?
We're going to be making a summer crush, which is my favorite cocktail to make with this strawberry piloncillo shrub. Let's get back to that shrub. Anyone know what a shrub is?
What is a shrub?
It's a bush.
A shrub is a vinegary fruit syrup, and it's got some roots both in 17th century England, but also colonial America. How did we come across this vinegary syrup? Well, we know by now that sugar helps preserve things, right? We call that candying.
Yeah.
And when we preserve things with vinegar, we call that
pickling.
Pickling, there we go. What do we do? What do we call it when we combine those forces, right? So now we're preserving with sugar and vinegar, and that's how we get the shrub. So pioneering Americans, they took their berries in the summer, right? And they said, these don't last very long. We want some strawberries into winter. What are we going to do? So they took casks, filled them with strawberries, and poured sugar over it, because that sugar preserves them. Well, the longer they waited, that sugar starts to decompose. Do you know what happens when sugar decomposes?
Becomes alcoholic.
Acidic?
It becomes vinegar. When sugar breaks down the first phase, then it goes into vinegar. It gets to alcohol later.
Okay.
I would so fail the SATs right now. I would not be getting into college.
So,
What do you eat?
this is how you make a shrub. First, you take some fresh fruit. And let me emphasize, you can do this with any fruit. I take about 500 grams of any of your favorite fruits, right? And then we take about half as much by weight of sugar. So this is 250 grams of sugar. You can use any sugar you want. So I used piloncillo, which is, if you remember from my sugar panel, that really dark South American sugar.
Okay.
We pour that right on top. And now, do you know what happens? This is called maceration.
Yes.
Ah, yes, you've heard of that. You've heard of that. Maceration is when sugar begins to draw liquid out of the fruit and break down the fibers. So what you end up with is something really soft, right? And this is a trick that pastry chefs have been using the world over, right? Because all you do, now you don't have to use your hand, but the sugar will eventually make a sauce out of this. I'm using my hand to speed this up. We're going to let this sit for 24 hours,
You
right?
washed your hands, right?
Of course I did.
Yeah, okay, just making sure.
Haven't we already been, and I'm going to wash my hands again after this. You see that second bowl there?
Yeah.
Yes. With the
that's-
string.
Thank you for the answer.
Yes.
Thank you for the answer.
We
My
were
back was to you.
mesmerized for a
Right.
minute.
Yeah.
So this bowl is this
Oh,
after 24 hours.
The
sugar-
a pectin or a jelly or a preserve of some kind.
Well, it's definitely preserved, but it is neither a pectin nor a jelly.
Hey, fine.
Why? Because
Those
Professor?
are, that's a
Why is
different
it?
lesson
Because
which
we
we'll get
haven't
She
to.
is
cooked
so
it?
not getting into college.
Right. So,
but is that because we haven't cooked it?
and we are not cooking it. Although this sort of preservation is a way, so maceration is a way of cooking without heat. Right? Because it's breaking down the vegetable, the fruit for you without ever adding any heat. All we have to do to make the shrub now,
Yummy.
we're going to pour this
tried it?
into a strainer. Please drink up, drink up. Summer crush.
Cheers.
I've had my fill. Wow. Oh my God. I have a little buzz from that.
Okay, now we're going to strain this.
Oh, snap.
It's good, isn't it?
Now we're having a good morning.
After you've strained the fruit syrup out, we're going to add about just as much vinegar. Okay? Because what the pioneers found was that the longer they let their fruit sit, the more that sugar converted to vinegar. So they began to get a taste for really vinegary fruit. Now we accelerate the process by just adding vinegar instead of letting this sugar decompose because we don't really have time for that.
When you said just as much as what you've extracted.
Exactly. So I'm going to measure this, and then I'm going to add just as much vinegar. Now I want you to think about the vinegar you're using. White vinegar tends to be very harsh. Apple cider vinegar is very flavorful. Red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar. You have a lot of choices. So I'm using strawberries right now. I've got some champagne vinegar. Who doesn't like strawberries and champagne?
Here.
You had me at champagne.
So this is equal parts?
It's about equal parts. Now this is to taste, right? So if you don't like it so vinegary, back it off a little bit. And you can, like I said, you can do this with any fruit you want. I've got plum, basil, strawberry. You can do pineapple, and you can add herbs like that too. Sugar will draw the flavors out of anything. Now the cake you're eating, you might notice all this fruit pulp you've got left over. This is not trash. Don't throw this away. While you're making your shrub, save this, throw it in the fridge, or put it in the bottom of a cake pan whip up a cake batter, pour it right on top, and you will have
what you did?
a fruit upside down cake. Nothing is trash in the kitchen. Remember that. This is all useful. So to make the cocktail then,
And not cook.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed something. So with the shrub,
Yes.
so you've done that, then you just put it into a can and you're done with
I'm
it?
going to put it into a jar and let it sit. You can let it sit for, up to a month. It's going to change flavor, and then it'll be about the same.
And what do you use it for? Anything?
So you can use shrubs. They're very refreshing. They're called drinking vinegars in Southeast Asia. You can mix it with seltzer water, or you can make a cocktail with it, which is what you have right now. So I've
So
got.
strong.
It tastes like alcohol. Like
Well, it is.
It's like strawberry alcohol rub.
Well, it is. There's 2 ounces of tequila.
Perfect.
In a good way. In a good way. Don't
Yes,
worry.
yeah. So we're making a cocktail with that.
A
So
little
we've got 1 ounce of shrub, 2 ounces
Yeah.
of tequila,
It's the tequila. There you go.
Ounces shrub, ounces tequila.
and
It's tequila.
1/2 ounce of
Oh, let's do
curacao.
shots, everybody.
Please do.
I love you. I love you.
wow. It's a little strong for me.
I want
I can't drink it.
I want more too. I'm into it.
my segment's done.
All right, that is the most refreshing summer drink right here.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Ken's ready for more.
Yeah.
I wanted
Nice.
something without the alcohol.
All right, here we
Home
go.
and family, cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to everybody at home.
More information available at, you can visit renegadekitchen.com. We're coming back, and if she can see straight, Tanya.
Yes, barefoot sandals coming up for this summer. Very trendy.